Here on Temple Street, this door leads into a former music studio where someone killed John Robinson 36 years ago. Since then, his family's petitioned the state, and there's now a new $50,000 reward in this case. Perhaps nobody knows the story better than Robinson's sister, Jocelyn Jackson. When she was just a child, her brother moved from Kansas to New Haven to live with his dad.
About 14 years old. In the 80s, he became a Connecticut kid.
He lived there for the next 10 years, building his love for making music until his life was cut short in Suite 208. That's where he was found dead from a severe head trauma on March 14, 1990. The place he had band rehearsal practices became the last place anyone saw him alive.
I was simply struck silent. I didn't have any ability to process the truth of that statement. It was simply a sense of fear and sadness.
A sadness that tragic never goes away, even almost 40 years later. She's not a little girl anymore, but she'll always miss her big brother.
John was very much the protector, the adventurer, getting into good trouble, the sweetness of, making us laugh, and also, just making sure that we are taken care of.
Now she's the one taking care of him, looking after his legacy and his case. Robinson's music was released in a posthumous album she encourages everyone to listen to. And she's worked on a podcast, a website, a petition, and so much more to keep eyes on the case while she waits for their day of justice.
It almost doesn't feel like a responsibility. It feels more like a gift. When I was 15 years old, I didn't have the capacity to do what I can do now that I'm 51.
The New Haven Police Department shares her same goal.
We continuously work on all of our unsolved cases. We never forget.
Police Chief David Zanelli says even though this is one of their older cases, it's not too late to solve it if someone comes forward.
There's no tip that's too small, right? We'll take any information anytime. I think that sometimes as time goes on, people that may have been concerned for their safety or nervous to talk to law enforcement may no longer have those feelings.
Jackson says more than anything now, they want to know how his story ended and why.
I want there to be clarity around this information more than I want to interact with the carceral system that we currently have in our country. The people responsible to take accountability for their actions, to take responsibility for the choices they made. It's not to cause more harm. That's not on our list of things to accomplish in our loved one's name.
Again, there is a $50,000 reward in this case if you help New Haven Police make an arrest and conviction. Tips can also be called in anonymously. In New Haven, Solene Arif, Fox 61.